Hello everyone, we would be starting your Module 7 for Engineering Data Analysis. This is normal distribution. So we'll start with section 3 because we are actually done with your section 1 and section 2. So section 3 is finding value. So in here, we would be trying to find the z-score given the area under the normal curve. Then we will also transform z-score to x value and find specific data value for normal distribution given the probability. So in finding the values for a given probability, it's like what we actually did before. So if yung chapter 2 natin or yung section 2 natin is transforming your x to the probability to z and to probability, ngayon naman, we would be transforming our probability to z and later part to x. Okay? So let's start with this problem. So we have here, find the z-score that corresponds to the cumulative area of 0.632. Okay? So, para makita niyo yung z-score na yan, we would just have to check on our z-table. Tandaan niyo, 0.3632. Okay, hanapin natin siya sa table ngayon. 0.36. Zoom natin ng kaunti. Okay, wala, 0.9. Oops. Sa negative, try natin. 0.333. 3632 is here. Okay, 0.3632. At ang value niya ay negative 0.35. Negative 0.35. So therefore, on our solution, our z-score is negative 0.35. Okay? So that's our z-score. Okay? Next. Find the z-score that has 10.75% of the distribution's area to the right. Okay? So, 10.75 to the right. Okay? So, pag inanalyze mo siya, okay? So, pag tinignan nyo sa chart, okay? Mga nandito, to the right. Okay? Ito yung hinahanap na area. Okay? And value daw ay 0.1075. Okay? So, para makuha natin kung ano itong z-score na to, okay? So, since to the right siya, kailangan nating i-1 minus. No? Okay? So, 1 minus 0.1075 para makuha natin yung value sa z-table. Kasi yung z-table, note lang, recall, ang z-table, yung standard table ng z, laging to the left yung show niyang area. Eh ngayon, ang problem nyo, nasa right. Okay, kaya i-1 minus natin. Okay? So, 1 minus 0.1075 is equal to okay. That's equal to 0.8925. 0.8925. Okay. So, yung 0.8925 na yan yung hahanapin sa table. Okay. Balik tayo sa table. 0.89 negative, positive. 0.8925. That's 1.2. Sa taas ay 4. 1.24. Okay, so mabalik tayo. 1.24. J value, 1.24 na positive. Okay? So, ang value nito ay 1.24. Right? Next, find the z-score that corresponds to P5 or percentile of 5. Okay? So, para makita natin yung percentile, fifth percentile, okay? So, ang ibig sabihin ng fifth percentile ay the area of 0.05. Okay? So, 0.05. Ibig sabihin, pag dinraw nyo yung inyong chart, okay? Ito yung 1.05. Okay? So, that's the 5th percentile. Okay? So, kunin natin ngayon kung base sa table natin yung 0.05 na yan. Dahil left naman siya, diretso kung anong nakikita natin sa table natin. Hanapin natin yung 0.05, 0.52, it's not 0.05, 0.05. Okay, so since walang sakto, ang meron dito 0.0505 tsaka 0.0495. Okay, so we would be getting the middle dahil nasa gitna naman. Nasa gitna si 0.05 nitong dalawang to. Okay, kukunin lang natin yung middle ng dalawang to. Ng negative 1.64 at saka 1.645. Okay? At ang middle nun ay negative 1.645. Okay? So, therefore, your Z value ay negative 1.64. Oops, hindi ko pala na-shift yung 645. Okay, so I would like to try using this problem. Tapos nandito na yung answer niyan sa ilalim. Okay, so para hindi kayo masyadong mahassle. Next. So, let's try to transform naman a z-score to x-score. Okay, so yung formula niyan ay galing lang din dun sa z-score. Okay, na formula na meron kayo before. Yung z is equal to x minus mu over your standard deviation. Okay? So, tinry lang natin i-isolate si x. So, lipat natin si standard deviation. Tapos, x minus mu. Okay? Tapos, lipat natin to si mu sa kabila. So, that would be mu plus standard deviation z is equal to x, which is yun din yung nandun sa taas. Okay? So, dun po siya nanggaling. Okay? So, again, to find your x given the population, use this formula x is equal to mu plus z times your standard deviation. Sample, this one. So, supposing we have speeds of vehicles along a stretch of highway normally distributed with mean of 67 miles per hour and standard deviation of 4 miles per hour. Find the speeds x corresponding to z scores 1.96, negative 2.33, and 0. So, given tayo, we have mean of 67 miles per hour. We have standard deviation of 4 miles per hour. Okay, so we are asked for 3 Z's. So, Z1 is equal to 1.96, Z2 is equal to negative 2.33, and Z3 is equal to 0. Okay, so we would have to just substitute this to the formula na dinerive natin kanina. Okay, so solution. Okay, ang hinahanap niyan ay speeds. Okay, so ang hinahanap ay required muna pala. Required, ang hinahanap ay mga x. Ang daming hanap na x. Okay, so required x. Solution tayo. Formula x. Okay, formula x minus mu, x, ano ba yan? Excuse me. Kagulo. X is equal to mu plus standard deviation of and c. Okay? So, substitute lang natin. Mu, 67 for 1 ha, z1. Okay, so x ng z1, so 67 plus 4 times 1.96. Okay, so that would be 74.84. Next, Z2 miles per hour. Okay. So, Z2, X is equal to 67 plus 4 times negative 2.33 equals 57.68 mph. Okay, next, Z3. X is equal to 67 plus 4 times 0, 67 miles per hour. Okay, so these are the speeds with the corresponding z-scores. 1.96, negative 2.33, and 0. Next, scores for CE exam are normally distributed with a mean of 75 and standard deviation of 6.5. To be eligible to civil service employment, you must score in the top 5%. Okay, what is the lowest score you can earn and still be eligible for employment? Okay, so let's have the given. Okay, the given was mean of 75 and standard deviation of 6.5. Okay, we are actually given a probability na top 5%. Okay, so top 5%, ibig sabihin ito yun. Okay, so to the right, okay? Hanapin natin ngayon yung Z value ng to the right ng top 5%. Okay? So, bago natin hanapin sa table, dahil nga yan ay to the right, top 5%, to the right yan ng inyong chart, kailangan muna natin i-1 minus. 1 minus 0.05 ay 0.95. Okay? So, hanapin natin to sa table natin. Okay? Hanapin sa table, 0.95. Okay, 1 point, positive naman. Positive 1.645. Okay, so balik tayo sa ating solution. Positive 1.645. And we can now proceed to getting the required lowest score. So, solution, x is equal to mu plus z is equal to 75 plus 1.645 times 6.5 equals 85.69. Okay. So, ito dapat yung score mo para makapasok ka sa top 5%. Okay, at makapasok ka for civil service employment, which is yun yung required ng problem. Okay? So, next. So, you can now try to solve or apply yung ating initial na problems using this formula. Again, the answer for verification is available below. Naka-invert lang. Okay? Para wag kayo masyadong matempt na hindi na mag-solve. Okay? So, try na muna siyang i-solve and re-verify using this answer. So, that's great. That's section 3. Okay? So, we can now proceed to section 4. Okay? So, section 4 is sampling distributions and central limit theorem. Okay, so here are your objectives for section 4. We would be finding sampling distributions, interpret central limit theorem, and apply central limit theorem to find the probability of a mean. Okay, so sampling distributions, the probability distribution of a sample statistics formed when samples of size n are repeatedly taken from the population. Okay, so kumbaga ay ito na yung parang probability distribution before. Okay? From many samples, okay, pwede na kayong create ng sampling distributions. So, again, this is what it means to have your sampling distribution. You have your population, and then gumawa ka ng samples. Sample 1, sample 2, sample 3, sample 4, and sample 5. Okay, and then you'll get the mean. Tapos, pwede mo siyang gawa ng distribution. Ilan yung mean ng sample 1, ilan yung mean ng sample 2, etc. Okay, so properties of sampling distribution. The sample means is equal to the population mean. Okay? And the next, the standard deviation of the sample mean is equal to the population of the standard deviation divided by the square root of sample size n. Okay? Which is called the standard error of the mean. Okay? So again, for the population mean, for the sample mean, for the sampling distribution, equal yung sample mean sa population mean. And for the standard deviation of the sample over square root of n. Let's try on this problem. So we have the population values of 1357 written on slips of paper and put in the box. So 2 slips of paper are randomly selected with replacement. Okay, so find the mean, variance, and standard deviation of the problem, of the population, and graph the probability histogram for the population values. Okay, so finding the mean of the sample, of the population, okay, so mean, A. Okay, mean ay summation of x over n. Okay, summation of x over n ay 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7. Okay, over n na 4. Okay, that would be equal sa 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7. 16 over 4 ay 4. Okay, next, variance. Okay, variance. Ang formula ng variance ay summation of x minus mean over squared over n. Okay? So, pwede naman natin siyang kunin isa-isa. So, since may mean na, so that would be 1 minus 4, tapos 3 minus 4, 5 minus 4, 7 minus 4. Okay, tapos squared natin siya. Okay, 1 minus 4 ay 3 squared, 1 squared, 1 squared, 3 squared. Oops. So that would be, ito na yung x minus mu squared. Okay, 9, 1, 1, 9, 9, 18, 19, 20. Okay, 20. Okay, so that would be 20 over 4. Okay, which is equal sa 5. Okay, and our standard deviation would be square root of 5, which is equal sa 2.236. Okay, so these are your mean, variance, and standard deviation. And next, okay, graph the probability histogram of the population values. Okay, so ang histogram niyan is equal lahat sa 1/4 o 0.25. Okay, kasi equal sila lahat ng chance. 1, 3, 5, 7. Kasi ang probability ng getting 1 ay 1/4. Tapos probability ng getting 3 ay 1/4. Probability ng getting 5 ay 1/4. And probability of getting 7 is 1/4 as well. Okay? Next. Okay, list all possible samples of size N2 and calculate the sample mean for each sample. Okay, so lahat ng may possible possible connections, pwede nating i-list. Okay, this is for letter C. Okay, so we have ano yung mga possible combination? Sample, and then sample, sample. Okay, so pwedeng 1, 3, 5, 7 yun, no? Pwedeng 1, 1, 1, 3, 1, 5, 1, 7. 1, 3, 5, 7 yun kung hindi ako nagkakamali. Okay, next ay 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 3, 3, 5, 3, 7. Okay? Next, another sample. Okay? So, we have 5, 1, 5, 3, 5, 5, 5, 7. Okay, then 7, 1, 7, 3, 7, 5, 7, 7. Okay, so pag kinuha niyo yung mean ng each, okay, kunin natin yung mean ng each. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3 plus 1, tama, 2, then 3, 4, 5, tapos 3, 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, so these are the means. Tapos pag nag-create tayo ng probability distribution of the sample mean, so syempre, pagsasama-samahin natin yung distribution. So, halimbawa, mean na 1, 2, 3, 4, anong maximum natin? 5, 6, 7. Ilan yung may mean na 1? Isa. Isa lang. Frequency, isa lang. Okay? Tapos, may mean na 2, dalawa. May mean na 3, 3. May mean na 4, 4. May mean na 5, isa, dalawa, tatlo lang. May mean na 6, dalawa. And may mean na 7, isa lang. Okay? So, pwede natin kunin yung probability niyan. Okay? That would be 1 over 16. Okay, kasi 16 yung total nito. Okay, 1 over 16, 2 over 16, 3 over 16, 4 over 16, 3 over 16, 2 over 16, and 1 over 16. Okay? So, with that, pwede nyo na siyang i-graph using the probability. Okay? So, that would be 0.0625, 0.1250, 0.1875, 0.25, 0.1875, 0.125, and 0.0625. So, pwede nyo na yung i-create uli ng chart. Okay? Yung another distribution. Pero, hindi pa naman siya nire-require. Ang hinihingi pa lang naman sa inyo ay probability distribution. So, ito yung probability distribution for your letter D. Next, we would be getting the mean, variance, and standard deviation of the sampling distribution of the sample means. Okay? So, using the properties that we previously discussed, okay, so we would be getting the mean. So, sabi daw, mean of the sample is your mean of the population. Okay? So, kunin natin yung mean ng sample. Ang mean ng sample kanina ay 4. So, therefore, 4 din yung gagamitin nating mean for the total. Okay? So, for the standard deviation, okay? So, standard deviation ng sampling distribution is equal to standard deviation over square root of n. Okay? Standard deviation kanina is equal sa square root of 5. Kunin natin siya. Square root of 5 over n. Okay, square root of 5 over n. So, square root of 5, ito yun. Square root of 5, standard deviation. Okay? So, square root of 5 over square root of n. Okay, ang n natin ay 2. Kasi 2 samples yung ginawa natin. Okay, so square root of 5 and square root of 2. Okay, so square root of 5 over square root of 2. 1.581. Okay, so again, standard deviation, okay na, standard deviation. Yun lang naman ang hinihingi sa atin. Variance naman, ang variance ay squared lang naman. Okay, so 1.581 squared, hinihingi pa rin yung variance. 1.581 squared ay 2.5. Okay, so yan ang ating values for our standard deviation and your variance and yun. For graphing the probability of histogram, okay, so you can see here the histogram nitong values na kinompute natin here. Okay, so itong 0.0625, ito yun, okay, 0.0625, etc. Okay, so this is your histogram of your sampling distribution as computed in this one. Okay? So you can try to apply, okay, using this formula. Using this sample problem. Okay, next. The central limit theorem. So, the central limit theorem, if samples of size n is greater than 30 are drawn from any population with mean, mu, and standard deviation, then the sampling distribution of the sample means approximates a normal distribution. So, sabi daw, kung sakaling greater than 30 daw yung samples ninyo, so therefore, siya ay nagpo-follow na ng normal distribution. So, the greater the sample size, the better the approximation. Okay, so if the population itself is normally distributed, the sampling distribution of any sample means is normally distributed for any sample size n. Okay, so in either case, the sampling distribution of the sample means is still equal to your population mean, and then the sampling distribution of the sample means equal to the variance of 1 over n times the variance of the population, or ito siya. Okay, so same formula pa din applies for the central limit theorem. So any population distribution, okay, so has the standard deviation of that, and then distribution of sample means which is greater than 30, ito yung kalalabasan niya. Okay, so normal population distribution, we have here the standard deviation. Then this distribution of sample means at any n would be equal to your standard deviation in this scenario. Another example is one. So the phone bills. Okay, so phone bills for residents of the city have a mean of 64 and a standard deviation of 9. Random samples of 36 phone bills are drawn from this population and the mean of each sample is determined. Find the mean and standard error of the mean of the sampling distribution. Then sketch a graph for sampling of the distribution. So, pwede nating identify yung mean. Yung mean ay equal sa mean ng sample, which is equal to 64. Okay, tapos standard deviation of 9. Okay, standard deviation of 9. Pero sample yun. Okay? Ng sample. Okay? S lang pala siya. So, the random sample of 36 phone bills are drawn from this population and the mean of each sample is determined. Find the mean and standard error. So, ito na yung mean. Yung standard error of the mean. Standard error is a standard deviation. Okay? Standard deviation is equal to standard deviation of the sample over the square root of n. Okay? Which is 9 over square root of 36. Okay? Which is equal to 1.5. Okay? So, 1.5. And then, let's try to... Sorry. Let's try to graph. Okay? So, since ang standard deviation niya ay medyo maliit, okay? So, kung ang mean niya ay nasa 63, 63 ba? 64? 64. Okay, kung 64 ang mean niya, 64, lagay natin sa gitna, 64. Then 1.5, 60, sobrang stout, ay sobrang peak nun, sana gitna siya. Okay, sobrang peak kasi parang dito yung 64. And 64 kasi 1.5 lang ang standard deviation niya, which is ito na yun. Okay, 1.5. Okay, so 1.5 tsaka 1.5. So medyo mataas yung kanyang, medyo patulis yung kanyang chart since the standard deviation is very small. Okay, for the sample. Next. Okay. We'll proceed with the other. The heights of fully grown white oak trees are normally distributed. So we have here with a mean of 90 feet and standard deviation of 3.5 feet. Random samples of 4 are drawn from this population and the mean of each sample is determined. Find the mean and standard error of the mean of the sampling distribution. So again, same as kanina. So mean would still be equal to your 90 feet and then standard deviation ay 3.5 over square root of 4. Okay, so which is shown in blue. So ito yung magiging chart niya. So 1.75. So yung deflection niya hanggang 1.75 lamang. So medyo high din naman, medyo steep din naman, pero hindi naman ka-steepan. Okay? Next, to transform x to a z-score, so we have z is equal to mean minus mu of x of your mean over your standard deviation. Wherein your standard deviation is equal to standard deviation over square root of n. So we have here sample problem related to cars. So we have here the graph shows the length of time people spend driving every day. You randomly select 50 drivers, ages 15 to 19. So that's 25 minutes. What is the probability that the mean time they spend driving each day is between 24.7 and 25.5 minutes, assuming standard deviation of 1.5 minutes. Okay, so first off, let's get the mean. Okay, so mean is equal to mean ng ating sample. Okay, so which is equal to 25 minutes. Next, we have to get the standard deviation. Okay. Your standard deviation is your standard deviation over square root of n. Okay. So, standard deviation, we have 1.5 over square root of 50 drivers. Okay. So, that would be equal 2.2121 21. Okay, 0.2121 na minute. Okay, so tinatanong niya, ano daw yung probability that the mean time they spent driving each day is between 24.7 and 25.5. Okay, so therefore, ang x natin, x given is 24.7, x1, and x2 na 25.5 minutes also. Okay, so pwede na natin gamitin yung formula natin. Okay, so gamitin natin yung formula to compute for the Z1. Z1 is equal to x minus mean over standard deviation over square root of n. Okay, so that would be x lang yan guys, hindi x bar. Sorry. And x is 24.7 minus 25 minutes over 1.5 over square root of 50. Okay, so that would be negative 1.41. Okay, negative 1.41. Z2, ang x natin ay 25.5 minus 25 over 1.5 square root of 50. .36. Okay, so Z values na yan. So, para makuha natin yung probability, kukunin natin yung base dun sa chart. Okay, so that would be, pag ginraph natin yan, hala, hindi na ako magkasya. Pag ginraph natin yan ng normal, ang mean ay 25. Okay, tapos, ang gusto niya ay within 24.7 hanggang 25.5. Ito dapat yung area. Okay, convert natin sa Z. Okay, convert sa Z. That would be 0. Tapos, dapat negative 1.41. Saka 2.36. Medyo malaki na yung area niya. Mga ganito. Hinahanap niya ngayon, ano daw tong area na to para makita yung probability. Okay, so therefore, yung probability that x, in between pala siya. So, 24.7 x 25.5 is equal to probability na ang z ninyo ay in between 1.41 2.36. Okay? Is equal to probability ng Z is equal to 2.36. Okay? Is equal. Is less than. Is equal talaga. Is less than 2.36 minus probability na ang Z ay less than negative 1.41. So, gagamitin na natin yung table. So, let me just go through the table. Okay, so we have here, ay, hindi pala nakashow sa inyo. Ayan. Okay, so we have here the table. Hanapin natin ngayon yung Z value na 2.36, positive 2.36, Z value 2.36, 2.3, 2.3. Hanapin ang 6, 6 ay ito. So, 0.9909. Ilalagay ko na siya doon ha. Hindi ko na siya i-shift. 0.9909 minus negative 1.41. Hanap daw. Negative, oops, taas. Negative 1.41, negative 1.402, 41. Ito. So, ito, 0.0793. Okay, so, i-minus natin. .9116. Okay, so therefore, itong area na to ay 0.9116. So, yung tinatanong niya na ano daw yung probability that the mean time they spend driving each day is between 24.7 and 25. Ang sagot ay 0.9116 or 91.16% yung chance na in between 24.7 and 25.5 minutes ang kanilang travel. Okay, so next. So ito naman, a bank auditor claims that credit card balances are normally distributed with mean of 2870 and standard deviation of 900. What is the probability that a randomly selected credit card holder has a balance of less than 2,500? Okay, so compute natin. So we have Z is equal to X minus mu over standard deviation. Okay, so we have X. Okay, X ay 25 minus the mean na 2870 over 900. Okay, that would be equal sa negative 0.41. Okay, so hanapin natin yung negative 0.41 na yan para makita natin yung probability na yung X ay less than 2,500. Okay, which is equal sa probability na ang Z ay less than negative 0.41, which is in our chart, Z, negative 0.41, mga nandito. Okay, so negative 0.41. Okay, so kunin daw natin yan sa ating table. So, checking our table. Negative 0.40, 0.3409. Okay, so lagay natin siya 0.3409. Okay, so this is the probability. Next, you randomly select 25 credit card holders. What is the probability that their mean credit card balance is less than 25? So since dito meron ng N, okay, so gagamitin na natin yan dun sa ating formula ng yung standard deviation. So again, your mean of your sample is equal to your mean ng population, which is equal to 2870, which is yun yung given kanina, kung hindi nyo tanda. Okay, then the standard deviation, okay, ito na lang. Standard deviation is equal to standard deviation over square root of n. Okay, your standard deviation would be, anong standard deviation natin kanina? 900. Okay, 900 over square root of 25. Okay, so that would be equal sa 180. Okay, so with that, pwede na nating makompute yung z. Z is equal to x minus mu over, ito na lang gamitin natin ha, standard deviation na ito na. Okay, so para hindi na tayo uulit sa 900 over square root. Okay, so that would be 25, our x, minus mean na 2870 over 180. That would be over 180. Negative 2.06. Negative 2.06. Okay, so therefore, para malaman natin, balance less than 2.5. So, probability that x is less than 2.5. So, less than na naman yan. So, therefore, banda dito na naman yan. Z value 2. Ay, banda, maliit lang pala yung dapat. 2.06. Okay, to the left na naman, less than. Is equal to probability that Z is less than negative 2.06. So, hanapin na naman natin si 2.06 sa ating chart. So, negative 2.06. 06. 2.0. Here are the 2.0. Then, 6. Ito. 0.0197. Okay, so therefore, ito yung probability that their mean credit card balance is less than 2.5 or 1.97. So again, you can try applying that concept using this problem. So that ends our session for today. This is continuous probability part 2. For questions, kindly message me through Teams so we can be clarified.